one second.
No, it's fine.
Everybody.
Sorry.
Ready?
Yeah.
I do not know how to build a wall or frame it out, put up drywall, tape and mud it, and finish it. At least that's what I would have told you about 3 months ago. And more to the point, that's what I told my girlfriend when she had the idea of building a walk-in closet off of our bedroom. So I have since learned how to do that, and I wanted to explain to you that it sounds like a tough project and it sounds like something difficult, but it's really simple to learn if you just take some time to try it. We'll focus on what I found to be the most difficult and kind of time-consuming task of the whole thing. Once you've actually framed the wall, put up the drywall, and you get to the last part of actually finishing it and making it look kind of nice and neat. There's a few tools that you'll need for this. And just to kind of step back, one thing you'll get out of this, besides maybe some enjoyment, if you've ever owned a house or you plan to own a house, you can really save a lot of money and just kind of educate yourself in general about how your house is put together. You'll need some tools. You will need a drywall mud knife, which you can get all of this at any Home Depot or Menards or any kind of home improvement store. You'll need a rough sander, a fine sander, drywall tape, and note that when we call it tape, there's no sticky side to it. It's really just a kind of paper that's used for construction. The joint compound, which you'll hear referred to as mud or drywall mud, and some kind of trough to put it in. You may want to put down a drop cloth or something like that if you're working in an area that's already carpeted or has a floor like that. It's really basically simple. You'll start with kind of preparing the area, make sure there's no rough pieces of drywall sticking out or anything like that. You'll then mix up the drywall mud, which there's instructions, pretty basic. You add water, mix it up. One other thing you'll need with that is another bucket to put some warm water in and things like that. Start by putting just a layer of the mud on the joint. So where the two pieces of the drywall meet, there's going to be a little gap. And after you've mixed the mud and put it in the trough, you'll get a significant amount on your knife, and basically just spread it across the area. And your goal is to fill the joint, and also there's going to be overlap on both pieces of the drywall. It's basically like the glue that's going to help keep this on. So once you've got that gap filled in, you'll measure this out. You'll want to put a little bit extra on each side of it. Cut a piece of the tape, and then you'll take more mud as you put the tape up. And this is the part that's going to take a little bit of practice. So you're basically going to press this up against the joint and spread more mud across the tape as you apply it down. And it'll just stick up there. As I mentioned the water before, depending on your process, some people recommend dipping that tape in the water first. You don't have to do that. It's really up to how you find works best for you. Once you've got that up, at that point you actually are going to have a waiting period because you need to let it dry, usually overnight or 8 hours if you do it in the morning. Once it's dry, you'll take your rough sander and basically just knock off the pieces of mud that have kind of built up. You'll get some chunks, smooth it down just a little bit, and then you'll start with another layer of mud. So it basically, at this point, you're trying to cover this kind of piece of tape and this other mud that you stuck up there. So you'll go through the same process. You'll have to remix your drywall mud, put it in the trough, and start over. This time you're going to be a little bit more aware of making it smooth and trying to get it as flush as you can. Then, again, you'll let it dry. So this is not a quick process. Once it's dried, you'll go back with the rough sander to break off the loose pieces. And then that's when your fine sander will come in to where you'll get it down as smooth as possible so you don't have a noticeable edge on both sides of this strip of mud that you've put on there. From there, you're going to be ready to prime and paint and all that once it's dried. So again, this kind of thing, if you own a house, if you have friends that own a house or family, it can save you a lot of money and can save you a lot of time not having to wait for somebody else to come and do it for you. And it also just gives you insight into how your house is put together. You learn a lot about the construction of your home, and it can also really be interesting and kind of expand your horizons, and eventually you can build out and do other things.